Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, something or someone is holding you back? According to Harvard psychologist Dr. David McClelland, 95% of your success or failure depends on the people you regularly associate with. That's not just theory, it's your daily life. You see, some people lift you up, others quietly pull you down, not always with bad intentions, but with their constant drama, their negativity, or their refusal to let you grow. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But what if your thoughts are being colored by the people around you? In this video, we'll reveal 6 types of people who slowly drain your energy, your focus, and even your potential. And more importantly, we'll show you how to protect yourself. From the manipulator who plays the victim, to the friend who never forgives your past. We'll explore why walking away isn't cruelty, it's self-respect. Because as Seneca reminds us, you must choose whose company to keep with great care. For nothing colors our minds more than those we spend our time with. So, if you're ready to reclaim your energy, guard your peace, and take back your path, let's begin. 1. The unpleasable person. Have you ever bent over backwards to make someone happy, only to be met with silence, or worse, criticism? No matter what you say, what you give, what you sacrifice, it's never enough. These are the unpleasable people in our lives, the ones who demand endlessly, yet never return kindness with gratitude. At first, we try harder. We say yes, even when we're tired. We adjust ourselves to avoid conflict. We become agreeable, accommodating, invisible. Why? Because deep down, we hope that this time, they'll finally appreciate us. But they won't. And every time we betray ourselves to please them, we lose a little more of who we are. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." And I would add, no one is more exhausted than the one who's always trying to prove their worth to those who refuse to see it. You see, people-pleasing isn't kindness. It's fear in disguise. Fear of rejection, fear of disappointing others, fear of being unloved. But as Marcus Aurelius said, it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. So let's change how we see this. Start here. 1. Ask yourself why you need to please this person. Is it love? Or is it fear? Is it about respect? Or is it about control? 2. Reclaim your pause. The next time they ask you to do something, don't answer immediately. Take a breath. Ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? That pause is your power. 3. Speak your truth. Even if your voice shakes. You don't have to argue. You don't have to explain. You just have to be honest. Say, I appreciate you asking, but this time I have to say no. 4. Learn to say no without guilt. Not every no needs a story. You don't owe them a 5-minute explanation. A calm, respectful no, thank you, is enough. And if they get angry, if they try to shame you, let them. Because Epictetus reminds us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. You are not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You are only responsible for honoring them. And here's the truth. When you stop over-giving to those who don't value you, you start making space for people who do. So let go of the exhausting pursuit of approval. It's not your job to be liked by everyone. It's your duty to be at peace with yourself. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is simply no. 2. The naysayer. You share a dream. You open your heart, and they laugh. You say, "I'm starting something new." They say, "That'll never work." These are the naysayers, people who don't just doubt your ideas. They doubt you. Sometimes they're strangers, but often they're close. Family, friends, people who claim to care, but chip away at your confidence. One sarcastic comment at a time. They say they're being realistic. But the truth is, they've simply given up on their own dreams. And now they're afraid of yours. As Marcus Aurelius said, the opinion of 10 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject. You were not born to shrink under someone else's doubt. You were born to grow, to try, to learn, to fall and rise again. Yes, their words can sting, but only if you choose to carry them. So how do you deal with the naysayers? 1. Don't internalize their voice. Just because someone says it's impossible doesn't make it true. Every great achievement once sounded crazy until it became real. 2. Redirect their energy. When they criticize, say, "Thanks for your input. I'll let my results speak for themselves." You don't owe them a debate. You owe yourself action. 3. Know when to challenge and when to walk away. If they speak without knowledge, correct them with calm facts, not emotion. But if they're committed to negativity, leave the conversation. Sometimes, silence is your greatest strength. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." But the naysayer does neither. They don't inspire. They don't grow. They just anchor you to the shore when you were meant to sail. And here's the most important truth. You don't need their permission to believe in yourself. You don't need their approval to begin. And you certainly don't need their blessing to succeed. Because, as Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let them laugh. Let them mock. You just keep going. And one day, the same people who doubted you will turn around and ask, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile, because you did it without them. 3. The drive armor queen. We all know someone who seems to carry a storm wherever they go. One moment, they're in crisis. The next, they're dragging you into it. They don't want solutions. They want an audience. These are the drama queens of our lives. And they're not always loud or theatrical. Sometimes they come in the form of a friend who always needs you. Someone who constantly finds themselves in trouble and convinces you that only you can fix it. At first, you help because you're kind, because you care, because you think they'll do the same for you. But over time you notice a pattern. They always need, you always give, and when you can't, you're suddenly selfish. They disappear and find someone else to pull in. Seneca warned us, A wise man is content with himself. The fool is always troubling others, looking for company in his misery. Drama queens don't want balance. They want control. They feed on urgency, on crisis, on making you feel like their rescuer. But what they really steal is your time, your peace, your energy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if someone does wrong, the harm is to themselves. But if you allow yourself to be disturbed, that harm is yours. So how do we protect ourselves? Start with this. 1. Set firm boundaries. You are not a 24/7 emotional emergency line. Decide when and how you're available, and stick to it. 2. Don't invite the drama. Avoid asking vague, emotional questions like, "How are you really feeling?" It opens the door to endless complaints. Instead, keep conversations brief and focused. 3. Don't reward their chaos. If they vent endlessly, say calmly, "I'm sorry you're feeling that way. I hope it gets better, but I have to get back to what I was doing." Then, leave it there. 4. Replenish yourself. After every draining interaction, step away. Take a walk, journal, or do something quiet that reconnects you to yourself. And finally, 5. Know when to walk away. If the drama never ends, if it's costing you sleep, focus, or your own sense of self, then it's time to step back completely. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Because, as Epictetus said, you become what you give your attention to. If you give your energy to chaos, you will feel chaotic. If you give it to peace, you will begin to feel free. So ask yourself, is this relationship helping you become who you want to be? Or is it holding you hostage in someone else's storm? 4. The manipulator. Some people don't raise their voice. They don't shout. They don't argue. They manipulate quietly, subtly, skillfully. They use guilt instead of reason. They twist kindness into obligation, and they make you feel like the bad one for not giving them everything they want. These are the manipulators. They disguise control as love. They call it help. They say, "If you really cared," or worse, "After all I've done for you." They know your weak spots, and they use them. Epictetus warned us, keep your will in harmony with nature, and you will never be coerced. But manipulators don't want harmony. They want leverage. You see, they thrive on imbalance. They prioritize their needs over yours and expect you to feel guilty for even noticing. At first, you might think you're helping, but over time, you realize something deeper. You're being used. So how do we protect our inner space? 1. Stop blaming yourself. Manipulators want you to think it's your fault. They say things like, "You've changed," or "You're being distant." But what they're really saying is, you're no longer easy to control. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth which never harmed anyone. But manipulators don't seek truth. They avoid it. So stop over-explaining. Stop apologizing for having needs, and start noticing their patterns. 2. Ask better questions. When someone demands too much, pause and ask, does this seem fair? Is this something you'd do for me? Not to confront, but to reveal. When a manipulator is forced to reflect, their control weakens. 3. Use time to your advantage. They want quick answers. They want you to cave under pressure. So, take your time. Say, "Let me think about it." Buy yourself space, because clarity lives in space. 4. Keep your distance if needed. It's not your job to heal them. It's not your job to fix their broken worldview. Seneca once said, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than is necessary." If every encounter leaves you drained, confused, or anxious, step back. That's not love. That's entrapment. You don't have to explain your peace. You just have to protect it. Because at the end of the day, manipulation only works when you forget who you are. So remember this: you are not a puppet. You are not responsible for everyone's happiness. And you are not selfish for choosing peace over pressure. 5. The unforgiving person. We all make mistakes. Some small, some harder to forget. We hurt people. We let others down. We fall short of our best selves. And yet, if we learn from it, if we grow from it, those mistakes become turning points. Not prisons, but there are people out there who refuse to see your growth, who keep replaying your lowest moments. Long after you've moved on, these are the unforgiving ones, the people who trap you in your past, even when you're working every day to create a better present. They say things like, "You haven't changed. I know the real you. You don't deserve to move on." But here's the truth. They're not punishing you. They're punishing a version of you that no longer exists. Seneca once said, "Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future." If someone refuses to forgive, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because they're still holding on to something they were supposed to release. Forgiveness is not approval. It's not forgetting. It's simply the act of choosing peace over punishment. So what do you do when someone won't forgive you? First, forgive yourself. That voice in your head, the one that says, "You're not enough." It's not the truth. It's a habit, and you can break it. Ask yourself, if someone I love made the same mistake, would I speak to them the way I speak to myself? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." You don't have to prove you've changed. You just have to live like it. Second, don't beg for forgiveness that someone has already decided not to give. You can apologize. You can make amends. But their refusal to let go is not your burden to carry forever. Third, practice self-love actively. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, not just your past. Engage in actions that reinforce your growth. Journaling, serving others, learning, creating. Build a new narrative that reflects who you are today. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." How someone treats your past reveals more about their character than yours. And finally, release them. You don't have to carry the weight of someone else's grudge. Let them hold on to their chains while you walk free, because the only way to move forward is to stop dragging what no longer serves you. You are more than your mistakes. You are your lessons. You are your courage to begin again. 6. The one who won't let you change. There's a certain kind of person who doesn't raise their voice, doesn't criticize directly, but still holds you captive. They remind you, again and again, of who you used to be. They say things like, "That's not like you. You've changed. Don't forget where you came from." And what they really mean is, "I liked you better before you grew." These are the people who won't let you evolve, who keep you trapped in old versions of yourself, not because you haven't grown, but because your growth threatens their comfort. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't waste the rest of your life worrying about what others think. It keeps you from doing anything useful." And that's the danger. When you let someone's outdated view of you dictate who you are today, you stop living for truth and start living for approval. The hard truth. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. Not everyone will clap for your healing. Your boundaries. Your peace. Some will feel left behind. Some will try to pull you back, not out of hatred, but out of fear. Fear that your change will expose their stagnation. Fear that they no longer understand you. Or, worse, that they never truly did. Seneca reminds us, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, hanging on to tomorrow and losing today." And I'd add, the second greatest obstacle is being chained to yesterday. So, what can you do? 1. Accept that outgrowing people is natural. You're not who you were 5 years ago, and you shouldn't be. Growth means becoming someone new, someone better, and that will confuse the people who preferred the old version of you. 2. Don't shrink to fit their narrative. When someone says, "You've changed," say, "Yes, I have, and I'm proud of it." You don't owe anyone the old you. You owe yourself the fullest version of who you are becoming. 3. Protect your identity from outdated labels. Maybe you were once passive, once insecure, once reckless. That doesn't mean you have to carry those labels forever. Epictetus said, "First, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." It's your declaration that matters, not their memory. 4. Let go of their expectations. You are not responsible for living up to who they think you are. You are only responsible for becoming who you were meant to be. And yes, some people may walk away. Let them, because the relationships worth keeping are the ones that honor who you are now and who you're still becoming. Change is not betrayal, it's growth. And anyone who truly loves you won't fear your evolution. They'll cheer for it. Not everyone who walks beside you deserves to stay in your story. Some people teach you through love, others through pain, but both are teachers. And once the lesson is clear, you don't have to stay in the same chapter. Ignoring someone doesn't mean you hate them. It means you choose your peace over their chaos, your healing over their patterns. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You don't have to argue. You don't have to explain. You just have to protect what matters. Your time, your energy, your future. Because when you subtract what drains you, you create space for what strengthens you. So let them go. Let the drama pass. Let the manipulation fade. Let the guilt fall silent. And in that stillness, you will find clarity. You will find freedom. And most importantly, you will find yourself again.